Welcome to Roam the Region. It's Friday, April 16th. Oh, of course, then we start this and somebody calls. But the funny thing is, we do know how to answer the phone, kind of. Hang on. Let me see if I can figure this out. We did get a new phone system a couple weeks ago. Now there's two lines coming through.
Oh, my gosh.
They'll call back. If you've been with us this past week, you'll notice that Monday our phones were not working at all because our fax machine needed to be integrated into our digital system. Suzanne and I were sitting here at the office, kind of like, wow, it's really a quiet Monday morning, but it's the first Monday after a spring break. So we're thinking people are getting in their groove. And then later on in the morning, we're starting to get texts and emails. We can't get through to your office. Is something going on? And we realized that our system was going through an upgrade to get the fax machine on. So we were in our glory for a few hours of no phone calls coming in, but then had to, backtrack and tell all of our members who tried to reach us, sorry, we didn't realize phones weren't working. Well, welcome today. We're excited to have our guest on in just a few minutes. But before we start, wanted to let you know that the Connect Life bus is outside today. It's our blood drive with Connect Life. And also the Lewiston Kiwanis are the host today. So surprisingly, Melanie, our contact from Connect Life, had said there are so many appointments today that have been filled, which is great. However, there still is room for walk-ins. So if you have a little bit of flexibility, little extra time today, stop by the office. They're here from 10 to 3 outside. You get a free Sabre shirt. So I think Sabres are doing okay now. I don't know. But anyway, you get a free shirt. So stop by, and thank you to the Lewiston Kiwanis for helping. Also, okay, this is a funny thing. We're not even here 5 minutes in the morning, and we get all these phone calls on why is there a tent in your backyard? Well, we didn't know either. But yesterday, it was so nice to see Robert Trenzo from Modern, and also our favorite guys from Brett's Tents, from Niagara Tents. We haven't used them or seen them in over a year. And usually this time of the year, we're on the phone with them 5 times a day, just getting things ready for the season coming up. Unfortunately, no, there is no Smelt Festival this weekend in the backyard, right? That's what everyone thought. We missed that. But Modern is doing a spring cleanup for Earth Day this weekend, and that is going to be utilized for that. So unfortunately, there's no party today. Although we could create
our own party, though.
We probably could. If you want to bring us
What
lunch.
time is the spring or the cleanup tomorrow?
They are here. They will be working all morning, and they'll be here behind our office from 11 to 1 in the afternoon. So it's short-lived for them to be here.
We'll have it cleaned up by then, Robert.
Yes, well, we'll just tell Robert. So we wanted to just let you know that. And before we get our guest on next week, we have Christina Vendetti from Transform Wellness Studio in the village of Lewiston. We were just talking. Maybe I'll send Suzanne over there, and Christina can show you some of the moves that you tried to do the last time you tried some yoga.
Yeah.
What are you thinking?
I'll do it.
Okay. We'll call her after this.
Gotta find my leg warmers.
You do. So at this time, though, I wanted to bring in our guest. Thank you, Stephen Carroll from the Salvation Army. He's Major Stephen Carroll. There we go. I have his banner name up there. We're so appreciative of you coming in. The Salvation Army of Niagara Falls is a member of the Chamber. And I have to tell you that throughout this entire year, throughout the pandemic, we've had a great relationship with the Salvation Army of Niagara Falls because they have helped stock the food table here that is out front. So we appreciate everything that you do. And, you serve the community well. And I just have to say thank you for everything.
Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure to be on.
Well, I still have one of your red totes here in the office. I have to get back to you. It's on our chair. I'm not going to take it home because if I do, it'll go in Marty's car, and I don't think my husband will get it to you. So I have it. I will get it to you. I should have brought it on Wednesday, the last time I saw you. I won't forget.
Okay.
So tell me.
I might just fill it up and bring it back.
Yes, we like the sound of that. Thank you. Tell us a little bit about your involvement with the Salvation Army and the Niagara Falls location specifically. I know that you've been there for a number of years. Tell us what you do there and how the Salvation Army serves the community.
Sure. There's really a lot to say in a short time to say it. I like people to know because my parents were a part of the Salvation Army until they retired, and they move us around quite a bit. So I was born and raised in Boston and all over Massachusetts with a short stint in the Virgin Islands after a hurricane. But the fact is, my mom is actually from the town of Niagara. She lived in Niagara Falls, town of Niagara, and the Salvation Army had a real strong impact on her life. She grew up, and when she was a teenager, she came to the Salvation Army every day after school. She got her first job there. It was very much a part of her life, so that very early on, she shipped off to join the Salvation Army and never looked back. So for me, getting assigned to Niagara Falls, which I had no input in, was an absolute blessing. It's coming home for me, and we've been here for 5 years, and we're just now starting to see some real great things. Our service area, even though we're the Salvation Army Niagara Falls Corps, our service area is all of Western County. And I take it very personally that I serve Lewiston and Youngstown as well. While they may not have the same kind of needs from day to day as many people in Niagara Falls, often I get a phone call. I remember one just a few months ago from someone whose mom lived right on the water in Youngstown, and she was all by herself, elderly, and she just didn't have food in her house, and she had called her son, and he lived on the other side of the country and couldn't get to her. So I loaded up a box of food and drove out and was able to drop it off. So those times that we get to serve our people in Lewiston and Youngstown are important to me, because our greatest financial support comes out of your community.
That's
So
amazing.
to be able to give back. So when you started the food table, to be able to support by bringing out food every week, sometimes every couple of weeks, was a great opportunity for us to be able to serve a community that's very faithful in supporting us. So it's our chance to give back to you.
Well, we thank you for doing that. Sometimes you would have your family come and help bring those boxes of food here onto our table. So I understand it's a family affair for you, and it started with a family affair a long time ago. So it's almost full circle for you with your family being involved in the Salvation Army. I do have to say the amount of times that you've been able to come out and help fill the table has just been so numerous over the past year, and you continue to do that. There's still a need in our area, and I think that need is going to be there for a while. Now, you're saying that this region is one that supports the Salvation Army of Niagara Falls. We have a lot of involvement from the community from that. And we're so grateful for some of our organizations that help with that and some of our businesses that help with that as well. I know many people are familiar with the big kettle that is put at Domino's Tops. He's a huge supporter of the Salvation Army of Niagara Falls. You have many volunteers that stand out there. How did that change a little bit this past winter?
It did change a little because we've had one volunteer there faithfully for a few years, and people loved seeing and talking to Pete. Everyone sort of knows Pete, and Pete has moved on. He's still very close with us, and we see him on a regular basis, and just had other things going on. So I promised Mr. Domino that I'm always going to send my best people. Even if it wasn't Mr. Domino, I'd still be sending my best people because that's financially my best spot. And Mr. Domino and his family and the store are also very are very supportive of us, both by giving us the spot and their financial supporters. Their big contribution goes in the paper every year, so I'm not sharing something confidential. They just have huge hearts, and they've always been supportive to us, so we're grateful for that. They also let us come out. We didn't do it last year because it was too close to the COVID, but we go out for a week in July as well. We call it Christmas in July, and people. In some places where you try to do that, people get a little upset. In Lewiston, they get excited. They're happy to see you. So
Yeah.
We're real grateful for the support that we get and for the opportunities we have to give back.
So there are opportunities for people, though, to also serve in different ways, not just financially, but also volunteer their time and services with the Salvation Army. Can you tell how somebody would be able to get involved if they're looking to, share their services, share their experience, share some time? How can they do that, and how should they contact you?
Sure. The best way to contact us is through email or through social media. Facebook right now, we are having some phone problems.
You
Yeah.
too? Both of us.
I think our phone system is on that ship that got stuck in the canal.
Oh, no.
It's on back order, and we're waiting for it to come. But in the meantime, we have a big event coming up just this Friday. One of the things that last year, when the lockdown first happened, or a few weeks in, I got a phone call from one of the parents that we work with, and she said, "Listen, I just called the police on my own son, and I just can't control him anymore." And the problem is that for a lot of these parents, they live in very small homes with their kids, and they're on top of each other, and they get 6 hours a day where their kids are at school. Their kids get a break from the parents, and the parents get a break from the kids. And during the lockdown, that just stopped. On top of that, a lot of the parks were closed. A lot of the activities in the community were closed. So there were no breaks, very small quarters. And people were it was just a matter of not having anything to do. So we did a distribution. We went up in the attic and pulled over our leftover Christmas toys from the 2 years ago distribution, and we looked for the educational toys, the games, the art supplies, the art kits, and we connected with a group of cosplayers, costume superheroes from the Justice League of Western New York, and they got all dressed up, and we had Captain America and Spider-Man delivering toys all over Niagara Falls in the middle of March.
Yep.
So we did that during the summer with athletic kits, and this year we put together it's our biggest distribution yet. We're going to hit 500 kids, and we're doing it in the form of a doorbell ditch. So if you remember being a teenager, maybe you were a better teenager than me, but we would sneak up onto a house and ring the doorbell. And sometimes you just ring the doorbell and run. Sometimes we'd leave a paper bag with something. Sometimes that paper bag may have been on fire.
Not doing any of that. Not doing any of that.
That was when I was a kid. But now we're going to leave gifts for the families for 500 different kids all over the town of Niagara, Niagara Falls. We have a few of our kids from Lewiston and Youngstown as well. These are all kids that we've worked with over the last year. They've been part of our backpack giveaway or our Christmas toy distribution. So we already have their names and locations. We already know where they live. And we've asked all kinds of groups to come out and support us by delivering toys. And they don't have to ring and run. They can say, "Hey, I'm delivering this for the Salvation Army." The superheroes obviously want people to see them in costume. They don't want to run away. The sheriff's department is agreed to do deliveries for us. And so that may be interesting if they show up at someone's house with the lights on and then give away free gifts. So everyone may take a different twist on it, but the goal is to really bless 500 kids all over Niagara Falls, all over the area, who otherwise are just stuck at home. And a lot of them still haven't been back to school, or they only go every other day. And this is just a way to keep them active. So I have a bag here. This is what we're giving away. And we put it in one of these reusable grocery bags, so mom gets a gift out of it too, or dad. We threw some PPE in there. This is an actual flying butterfly kit. You put the butterfly together, there's a rubber band, and it actually flies. We've got crayons, coloring books, a hacky sack, just little things that'll give the kid a bright day. So I'm looking for people who will take 5 names, mostly in Niagara Falls, and we're trying to keep them as close together as we can. And deliver 5 bags and just put it on the doorknob and run away, or say hi and say, "We're from the Salvation Army," or "We're from this group and we're working with the Salvation Army, and we will just want to wish you a nice day."
That's amazing.
That's great.
So if people are interested, the best way, because of the phone situation, would probably be, a lot of people are on social media. I know you're watching this on social media now. go to the Salvation Army of Niagara's Facebook page and you can contact there. There is a website too. It's a little bit more in depth with everything you have to type in, but you can also find contact information there as well. Send an email, but the more people who could help, the better. 500 different distribution areas is a lot, but so many hands make less work, right? So if you can take and volunteer and do 5 different drop-offs, that would be great. What if you have a costume? What if you have like an Elsa costume or Anna costume, one of those? What if you have one of those talents? Would you use one of those?
We're telling people any way they want to distribute, we'd love to have them. So if the sheriff takes one approach and someone else does costumes, we have local officials from Niagara Falls, the city councilmen are coming out. So yeah, if you're a musician and you want to serenade someone on their doorstep, feel free.
That's amazing. So if you're interested, please, please, please give a little bit of your time. It's next week, and all the details will be given to you. It'll be something easy to do. Now, you just mentioned music, and from last week, I know this, you came off of a really great week of inspiring children, teaching children, a week-long segment of just getting music out there to young children in the community. Can you tell us about what happened with that last week and where people can go to look for those videos?
Sure. Well, the quickest way, you have the Facebook page up. All of our videos are posted. This coming Sunday afternoon, we're going to post the concert of all of we did last week. If you've ever watched It's a Wonderful Life or an old-time Christmas movie, you'll see the Salvation Army Quartet standing around a red kettle. That's more than just nostalgic. The Salvation Army has been involved, particularly with brass banding, for 130 years. And we've got a rich history. When I first started with the Salvation Army in 2001 as an employee, I ran the Salvation Army's youth programs in Rockland County, New York, down outside the city. And I had a 13-year-old kid named Andrew. And Andrew played the piano, and he played a cornet or a trumpet. And he was just learning. All these years later, Andrew is now the principal trumpet player for the West Point Band.
Wow.
That story is duplicated over and over again. The music, and you'll know this being a musician, but music gives kids, not only does it help them to do better in school and other subjects, but it gives them opportunities that they wouldn't otherwise have. And a lot of the kids we serve don't have the means to be involved in a music program. Even if it's free in school, you have to have an instrument. Mm-hmm. And those instruments are expensive. And even if you rent the instrument, that's got to come from somewhere. Very often a school only has a limited supply of free instruments that they can give to kids. Our kids start playing brass instruments at the 4th grade, sometimes the 3rd grade if they're well behaved. And we had 60 kids, mostly from rough neighborhoods all over both Niagara and some from Erie County, from Buffalo. And we worked with those kids, and it's our Niagara Falls and area teenagers who've been in the program for a while who do all the teaching. And so the teenagers teach the kids, so that the teenagers are getting a taste of what it means to teach music.
Right.
It's helping them for not just for school to get their hours for community service, but it's also for several of them, it opens them up. We have 3 kids right now in college music programs who came up through our program and then went off to study music or music education at the college level, which is just incredible for me.
That is.
Yeah, so
that you're doing for those young children and just kind of giving them the opportunity is absolutely amazing. And that took place over all of last week during all of spring break for most students. And so tell us a little bit more about Sunday. What is happening on Sunday with that?
Well, at the end of last week, we safely filmed our concert in pieces. So instead of the kids being on the stage, the kids are in the seats and standing, each kid's 3 seats apart. And then the next row is staggered so that no one's within 6 feet of each other. And so it was much more difficult to film it. But so now we're in the process of finishing up our edits. And on Sunday afternoon will be the final concert for that. Our beginner conservatory, which is kind of an oxymoron, but we spend a week. We look for that 1 week where all the different school districts line up and they have break at the same time. And we've been doing it for about 6 years. Last year, we weren't able to because of the lockdown. And
Right.
this year, we fought and tried to get everything just right. And it came down to literally the weekend before when we finally were able to announce we're definitely having this. That we had to make sure that everything was set just in place. So we followed every rule we had to make it happen. But it was incredible. You heard kids who had never picked up an instrument before playing a song by the end of the week.
Wow. That's amazing. So we hope everyone can go and tune into that. That's on Sunday. There's the link down below to access that. If you're already on Facebook now, just click over and you can like that page so you get the information on that. Well, thank you so much for joining us today. I'm so happy to have you as part of our membership, but even more so that, you know, we can see the serving that you do in our area, and it definitely makes a positive impact. So in turn, if you're watching this, you could also contribute and serve as well. Opportunity for next week. And then there's more opportunities throughout the year. I know you have a lot of different things planned throughout the year where there's opportunity to serve. So, you know, we're excited to have this partnership with you, and we're grateful for everything you do for the area.
Thank you.
So everyone, we hope you tune in next week. Maybe we'll have Suzanne do some yoga. I don't know. We tried that once before. I don't know. I got to talk her up. Got to talk to Christina about that too next week.
She'll be all over that.
She will. Tune in next Friday at 10:30. Thank you for joining us. Stephen, thank you for joining us as well. We hope everyone has a great weekend.